Hey, I am here with two of our agents on the team, Ben and Melissa, and just have a few questions, and let's really direct our focus on buyers and getting ready for that buying process. So Ben, let's say a buyer wants to buy in 6 months. When should they be talking to a lender to get prepared for that buying process?
So typically, any lender you're going to speak to is going to let you know that that initial credit pull that's done when you go through the pre-approval process is good for 120 days, so about 4 months.
Yeah.
So if you're looking 6 months out, you're going to want to wait a month or two, or I should say maybe like 2 or 3 months before you get pre-approved. To make sure that your pre-approval is going to last until you're the date you're kind of looking to buy.
Yeah.
And again, your rate is not going to necessarily lock in at that point. Sometimes you're able to pay more money up front to lock in that rate.
Yeah.
But again, when it comes to timeline, about 4 months is kind of the earliest
4 months
you want to
sounds
get
good.
pre-approved.
And what do you need for a pre-approval, Melissa? What's typically needed?
So you're going to have to fill out a loan application. That's kind of the first steps. And then you're going to want to provide that lender with W-2 forms if you're a salaried employee. And a lot of times your 2 years of taxes are also going to be required.
Good.
And any income or assets.
And Ben, why do you need a pre-approval or pre-approval letter?
All right, so the main thing about getting a pre-approval letter, getting pre-approved in general, is once it comes to that time, maybe when you're a month out, or some people will have kind of a longer timeline, but they're like, if we find the right place, we'll jump on it, and that's kind of exactly why you want to be pre-approved. Whether you think you're going to buy within the month or a month or two, you just want to be ready to go when the time comes. If you're seeing a place on Sunday evening and they have an offer deadline, Monday at noon, you want to get pre-approved prior to that, ideally a few days before, so you're not, kind of working against the clock Sunday evening. Some lenders, again, do work on weekends, but, you want to give yourself a bit of a cushion and kind of be ready to, jump on the right property when you find it.
Give the loan officers their weekends off a little bit instead of calling them on Sunday. I need a letter.
Yeah.
So I've heard of this thing called loan commitment. Sure. What's the difference between pre-approval and loan commitment?
So loan commitment means that the underwriter has actually reviewed your application and they have verified your income and your assets. So it's going to be a little bit stronger than obviously pre-approval. And then there's going to be certain conditions on that commitment letter that if they are all met, then your loan will be approved.
So that's like the check all the boxes and
Correct.
everything's good. You have the commitment to get the loan.
Correct.
That's good. Ben, what are you seeing now in the current climate with the market shifting a little bit with down payments?
More often than not for me lately, I've been seeing higher down payments outside the real estate market. A lot of people are, kind of taking cash out of the markets and, holding it kind of, rather than getting in a hard asset rather than, keeping the markets and it fluctuating day by day. So I've had a lot of people with higher down payments recently. People have kind of been stacking cash, waiting for the time to buy. So that's something I've seen a lot. It's been a while since I've, worked with like a 3% down, 3.5% down. Lately it's been, minimum 10%. So it's been good.
Yeah.
But again,
but buyers can buy with
exactly
3%.
3% down, and I've won plenty of times on offers with just 3% down against people who were upwards of 20 plus. So it's again no issue to have a lower down payment at all.
Good. Melissa, if you can kind of share with a story where buyer was getting pre-approved and then found out, oh no, I can't qualify for a loan.
Yeah, absolutely. And that is why it is good to talk to a lender months before you're ready to find that house, because if there is something alarming, maybe your credit score is lower than you need to have it to purchase, the lender can walk you through that and give you strategies of things to do to improve your credit score. So say you are 6 months out, maybe you do need that 6 months to build up your credit score, and then by that time you are actually ready to buy. So I think that's the biggest thing. Someone may not realize they had something on their credit report that they didn't know about, and it's hurting their score and bringing it down.
Yeah, a lender told me once that, they're a client that they were trying to get approved. They gave them the strategy of, hey, you have this money set aside. If you pay off your car loan, which is going to be paid off in 10 months, then your credit score goes up, your buying power goes up.
Right.
So they were able to rework their loan to make sure that that happened.
And another thing I've seen, a couple times with people is, credit score. Based on your credit score, you'll be able to qualify for certain types of loans. So, you have VA loans, you have FHA loans, you have conventional loans. And I've had people who, by themselves, they're, able to qualify for an FHA loan, whether it's, income related or credit score related. But if they get a co-signer co-sign from a parent, significant other, anything like that, they can, kind of jump to that conventional level. My client Vicky, we did that exact same thing. And, we're under contract right now, and I think definitely getting her from FHA to conventional was a huge part of that.
That's great.
So that's kind of one thing to note. Where there is those different options out there.
Financial counseling that you all do months in advance just seems invaluable, and I think the lesson really here is to connect with the lender early, start that process, and figure out what is best, and then you have time to be able to make that decision. So thank you both for spending a few minutes with me today.
Yeah, absolutely.